Stephen King knows how to keep us up at night. His books have terrified readers for decades, and Hollywood has turned many of them into movies that haunt our dreams. If you think you're brave enough, check out these 15 Stephen King movies that are guaranteed to give you chills. Let's kick things off with the original It from 1990. Tim Curry's portrayal of Pennywise the Demon Clown has scarred many childhoods and is the root cause of countless clown phobias. Sure, the 2017 remake might be more terrifying and closer to the book, but there's something about Curry's Pennywise that's just hard to forget. Just, pretend the spider creature finale didn't happen.
Hola.
Dr. Sleep is that rare sequel that stands up to the original, balancing between King's novel and the iconic, but King disliked, Stanley Kubrick adaptation of The Shining. Director Mike Flanagan brilliantly navigates this complex terrain, following an adult Dan Torrance, Ewan McGregor, trying to live a quiet life. But of course, evil doesn't let that happen, and Dan's shining is needed once again. It's a masterclass in keeping the horror legacy alive while adding new layers.
A dark place.
Hi there.
I only met 2 or 3 people like us.
Next up, we've got Children of the Corn. In the first few minutes, a group of bloodthirsty kids takes over a small Nebraska town by gruesomely murdering all the adults. Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton star as a couple who stumble upon this nightmare and soon find themselves targeted by the hell-bent children. Based on King's short story from his 1978 collection, Night Shift, this slasher horror flick will make you rethink any trips to the countryside.
Praise God! Praise the Lord!
In 1922, tensions run high as a Nebraskan farmer, Wilfred James, Thomas Jane, conspires with his son to murder his wife. Based on King's 2010 novella, this film dives deep into dark intentions and toxic masculinity, painting a bleak portrait of power and guilt. It's a gritty tale that captures the sinister essence of King's storytelling.
Life is rarely fair, especially out here.
And I believe that there's another man inside every man. A conniving man.
John Carpenter's Christine takes us for a deadly ride with a killer car. Adapted from King's novel, this 1983 cult classic follows high school outcast Arnie, Keith Gordon, as he falls under the spell of a possessed 1950s car. As Arnie transforms from bullied geek to vengeful menace, Christine delivers a mix of horror and rock and roll revenge that's both fun and terrifying.
What do you know about that car?
I know that the guy who owned the car before Arnie, his daughter choked to death in Christine.
It's that car. I swear it's the car.
How's Christine coming?
Oh, Cherry.
The Mist is a suffocating monster movie where a mysterious mist engulfs a small town. Trapped in a grocery store, David Drayton, Thomas Jane, and other townsfolk face an unseen deadly menace lurking outside. Based on King's 1980 novella, the film builds unbearable tension as the mist, and the monster within it, slowly closes in. It's a claustrophobic nightmare that'll keep you on edge till the end.
I hear something.
Those bugs?
Not like any I've ever seen. The entire front of this store is plate glass.
What is dead may never die takes on a whole new meaning in Pet Sematary. When Lewis Creed, Dale Midkiff, discovers a burial ground with the power to resurrect the dead, things take a horrifying turn. Based on King's chilling novel, the movie explores death and its dark consequences. Directed by Mary Lambert, it's a cautionary tale drenched in blood and supernatural horror.
What is this place?
I brought you here to bury Alan's cat.
Daddy, is church all right?
Why, Judd?
I had my reasons.
I dreamed he got hit by a car and you and Mr. Crandall buried him in the pet cemetery.
Geralds Game, directed by Mike Flanagan, is an agonizing horror story with Carla Gugino delivering a powerhouse performance as Jessie Burlingame. When a kinky game with her husband, Bruce Greenwood, goes wrong, Jessie is left handcuffed to a bed in a secluded house after her husband dies of a heart attack. Trapped and desperate, Jessie battles her inner demons and hallucinations. Flanagan masterfully adapts King's novel into a gripping, claustrophobic thriller that keeps you guessing till the end.
Wake up. Just wake up. It's time to wake up, honey.
5 hours you've wasted screaming for neighbors that are half a mile away, if they're even here yet.
The Shining is a ticking time bomb of suspense and psychological horror. Jack Nicholson stars as Jack Torrance, who, along with his wife Wendy, Shelley Duvall, and son Danny Lloyd, becomes the winter caretaker of the isolated Overlook Hotel. Directed by Stanley Kubrick, the film depicts Jack's descent into madness, influenced by the hotel's sinister supernatural forces. Despite King's well-known dislike for Kubrick's adaptation, The Shining remains one of the most iconic and terrifying films ever made.
Here's Johnny. I'm coming down!
Kujo is 90 minutes of sheer terror as a once friendly St. Bernard turns rabid and goes on a deadly rampage. In the heat of a sweltering summer, Dee Wallace plays Donna Trenton, a mother trapped in her car with her young son, trying to survive Kujo's relentless attacks. The film strips down King's novel to its core, delivering a heart-pounding story of survival against the odds.
Kujo?
Kujo.
Can he get us in here?
When King wrote Misery, he channeled his personal struggles with addiction into the character of Annie Wilkes, a deranged nurse who takes author Paul Sheldon hostage after a car crash. Directed by Rob Reiner, the film showcases Kathy Bates in her Oscar-winning role as Annie, whose obsession with Paul's work turns into a nightmare of captivity and violence. Misery is a panic-driven tale of psychological horror that'll make you squirm in your seat.
There is nothing to worry about. You're gonna be just fine. I'm your #1 fan.
I think one of my clients, Paul Sheldon, might be in some kind of trouble.
You mean Paul Sheldon, the writer?
This year,
My name is Annie Wilkes.
#1 fan.
he won't be going to any parties.
Oh, Paul, I've read everything of yours.
Brian De Palma's Carrie, based on King's first novel, is a horror classic that explores the hellish torment of high school. Sissy Spacek stars as Carrie White, a shy girl with telekinetic powers who is mercilessly bullied by her classmates. When the bullying goes too far, Carrie unleashes her powers in a prom night massacre that is both tragic and terrifying. The film's intense performances and shocking climax make it a timeless piece of horror cinema.
She'll be voted Queen of the Prom.
You know, I can make sure that you don't hurt Carrie White anymore.
For Carrie, it will be a dream come true. For everyone else, it will be a nightmare.
Finally, the 2017 adaptation of It brings King's epic horror story to life in a way that's both nostalgic and nightmarish. Set in the small town of Derry, Maine, a group of kids faces off against the malevolent Pennywise the Clown, who preys on their fears. The film blends gruesome horror with a heartfelt coming-of-age story, making it one of the best King adaptations.
I saw something. There was this
Clown. Yeah, I saw him too.